Hello everyone. In today's session, I am going to cover the topic of Python, that is comment line, variables, identifier, constant, and many more. So let's start with the comment line of Python. First, what is comment line? Comment line is nothing but a statement which we include in program to identify the process or the purpose of the program. It behaved like a statement which completely ignored by the translator or your respective compiler at the time of execution. But with that statement, we can easily define or we can easily understand the code or the steps of code whatever we have used in the program. We can also define the comment line as an understandable format through which we can easily explain that what is the purpose of that code. It makes our program easier or provide us the environment through which we can easily understand each and every steps of the program, which are actually present in a form of code for us. If we talk about comment line, it has two categories in Python. Single line comment and multiple line comment. If we talk about single line comment, it always denoted by the hash sign. But in multi-line comments, we can use the single or the double inverted comma both at 3 times at the time of opening as well as at the time of closing the lines. Both comment line are useful to explain the behavior of code in a single as well as different number of lines. So let's check both comment line or both categories of comment line by the example. And for this we have to open the Python shell first. So let's start with the Python shell. So this is the Python shell. As we know, we can use the comment line to explain the number of lines or the behavior or the purpose of code which we define in the program. So in the first step, we have to create a program. For creating a new file of Python, we have to click on the file menu and then new file option. An untitled file is open on your screen, or we can say appear on your screen. Now just put a value here, a equals to 10, b equals to again 10, and print a plus b. It's only a 3 number of lines here, so we can easily identify that what is the purpose of this code. But if the number of lines not inside the, not only in the 3 different numbers, so what if these number of lines are not only in a 3 different lines, but they come in a lot of different numbers of line, or here we have a different number of lines which we are not able to find the exact format of the code. So in this case, we have to define the number of lines, or we have to explain the code format using the comment line. So as we know, we can put the single comment line by the hash sign, and we can mention the statement in the comment as sum of 2 fixed value. So now we can see, we can easily identify the purpose of the program using that comment line. But compiler or your interpreter always ignore the comment line at the time of execution. So it will not present this statement as an output. When we run the program, it just returns the sum of A and B only. Before that, we have to be save the file. So just use a.py, where A is the name of the file and py is the extension of the Python. It returns 20. So here we can see it does not return the statement of the hash sign. It just returns the value of A plus B only. So this is the work of single comment line for us, through which we can easily understand the code which we have done in the program. Now the next is multiple comment line. The main difference of multiple and single comment line is we can put a single statement or only a single line with the hash sign, but if we want to put the number of lines in our program, we have to be use single or double inverted comma at 3 times. So we can use this, or we can use this to create a documentation format in our program. So when we use this sign, it allows us to put number of lines in the file of the program. So suppose now we close it. We can close it by the single or the double inverted comma, but most probably we can use the same sign through which we started the section. We have to be in the section with the same symbols. Now again we can save the file, and when we run the program, it again ignores the multiple comment line for us. So here we can see how do we work with the single as well as the multiple comment line using different symbols. This is also an example of the single or multiple comment line. Now the next topic is identifier. What is identifier? Identifier is just a name through which we can easily identify the properties of our program, which are present in a form of variable, which are present in a form of constant, which are present in a form of array, which are present in a form of pointer, which are present in a form of a structure, or anything which are defined by user. That definition is completely depends on an unique name, and that name which identifies the particular thing with their uniqueness is known as identifier. Identifier just provide the identification for that allocated area of the memory which we capture for the execution of the program. So it always follows some particular rule, and that rules are defined as the naming convention rule of the variable as well. The first rule of identifier is we always need to start the name of the identifier by the alphabetical characters only, in a upper or in a lower case, but it must be started from the alphabetical characters. That is from A to Z in the capital letter, or that is from A to Z in the small letter. Always remember the capital case and the small case in Python is also treated differently. It means if we put the capital A is completely consists the different value if from the small letter A. So let's check the value first with some example. We can use the rule in the example directly. So let's open the file first. Here we can use a equals to 10, where a is the identifier for the 10. We can also put a equals to 9, where capital A is again the identifier for the value 9. So here both are behaved like a constant and identified by the unique name, that is capital A or the small a. We can also use the underscore sign for the identifier. So we can use a underscore a to put a name for any value. Suppose the value is 8. Here we can put a underscore a for 8, which is completely different or which is completely unique from the small letter a or the capital letter A. We can also apply the numerical digit with the alphabetical characters for the identifier, that is A1, A2, A3. It also allows us to identify the name in this way, but we cannot take a space between the name. It always returns some error. We cannot use any extra symbol instead of underscore. We cannot put dollar. We cannot put hash sign. Or we cannot use any other symbol as identifier. We cannot use any keyword or any predefined word as the name of the identifier. Suppose if is a keyword of Python program, so we cannot take if as a identifier name in our program. It always treated as a predefined conditional operator through which we can actually perform some specific kind of work only, but we can take the same word in a capital letter because both are completely different to each other. So here these are some rules of identifier which we have to be remember when we work on the program of the Python. Here there is some examples of identifier which define that which identifier name is valid or which identifier name is invalid. So basically identifier just defined as a small unit which actually identify the content or the member of the program with some unique name. After the identifier, the next topic is constant, which is also defined as the literal value. What is constant? Constant is not in the Python, in any language. Constant behave like some fixed value which can't be changed at runtime. It means when we put the value at the time of design of the program, it always consists the same value at the time of execution also, and we cannot change it at the time of execution. That's why they are defined as a constant. They are completely fixed. Sometimes they are defined as a static value also because we cannot change the behavior of that value at runtime. If we talk about the constant, it is also defined as a literal value which has different category. If we put the value in the numerical form, it defined as an integer constant. If we put the value in the decimal form or with the decimal values, it defined as a fractional constant. And if we use the complex values, is defined as a complex constant. These three categories of the constant are defined by the numerical constant. The next constant is string constant, which identified by the single or the double inverted comma. When we put the value or when we enclose the value in the single or the double inverted comma, they are completely dropped inside the string constant only. If we talk about the integer constant, it always represented by three different formats. The first is the decimal integer. When we put the value between 0 to 9, or when the numerical value is created by the combination of 0 to 9 only, is represented by the decimal integer. For example, if we take a equals to 9, 0, b equals to 9, c equals to 99, they are completely depend on the decimal integer form, or we can say the integer constant, because here the value of c, b and a are completely fixed, and they can't change at runtime. In the same way, we can also take the value in the octal form. To put the value in the octal form, we have to take the value in between 0 to 7 only. It means the value of octal consists only the digit which is made by the combination of 0 to 7 digits only. Suppose z equals to 6, 7. Is it defined as a octal value? The answer is no. It is not defined as the octal value. To identify the octal value constant, we have to put the sign of the octal first, and the sign of the octal is 0 and O. We can put the O in the capital or the small letter. When we use 0O with the number, it always represents the octal digit, which is completely depend on the combination of 0 to 7 only. We can also put the integer value in the hexa form. Suppose the value of hexa represented, as we know, the value of hexa is presented between 0 to 9 as well as the A to F alphabetical characters. So, can we use 8 and F as a hexa? The answer is no, because as like octal, we have to follow some rules in hexa, so that we have to use the prefix for hexa, that is OX, or we can also use O and capital X. So both are completely similar. When we use 0x, 0x is the prefix. When we put the 0x, it automatically turn your number into the decimal form. So when you put 89, it treated as a hexadecimal number here. So when we assign the value of the variable, when we assign the value of the identifier at compile time or at the time of coding of the program, are known as the constant value. When we use the numerical combination only, are dropped in the integer constant. But if we use the string value, it means when we use the data which are quoted by the double inverted comma, like hello, or like so both are completely similar in Python. Here they are defined as the combination of character, and the combination of character are defined by the string format. So we can see C and X consist the string format, which are also a kind of constant value which present in the string form only. So when we assign the value at compile time, are defined as the constant value which are completely fixed and we cannot change at runtime. So that's why they are defined as a constant. But the main purpose of these values are also capture or hold some area where these data are stored and execute at the time of execution. But these data are stored with the fixed value, so we can't change it. This is the behavior of the fixed value are defined as a constant here. Now the next topic is variable. Constant and variable are much more similar, but the difference is what? Both are responsible to hold some area where we can store some data. But the difference is, in constant, the area are always captured by the fixed value. It means the value are completely defined, or we can say we can always use some defined value and execute those value at runtime. But if we talk about variable, it is also defined the vacant space where we can put some data. But the variable always explain or responsible to define the data at runtime. It means it always captures some vacant space where we can put the data at the time of execution. So in variable, it allows us to change the value or use different values at runtime. We can say variable is behave like a container which identified by some unique name which is called identifier, as we know, but it always hold the data till the processing and allow us to return the value after the execution of the program with some reserved area, which is also identified by the identifier. As like any other programming language, in Python, we don't need to declare the variable before the execution or at the time of coding. When we declare the variable in program, or when program allow for the declaration of variable before the execution, are defined as a strongly typed language. And Python is not defined as a strongly typed language. C, C++, Java are some example of a strongly typed language where we have to declare the variable in the program first. But in Python, it allows us to put the variable directly and use them when we want to use. As we know, declaration of variable always represent the nature of the data. In Python, we don't need to declare the nature of the data, and it allows us to set the nature of the data at the time of execution. Due to this feature, or due to this quality of the Python, it defined as a dynamically typed language instead of the strongly typed language. As we know, variable naming, as we discussed earlier, the rule of the identifier is also defined as the variable naming rules, where we have to put the alphabetical characters. We can't start the name with digits. We cannot use different symbols except underscore in variable's name. So when we use the variable, it always define how do we treat the data directly with the translator or the interpreter of the Python, and without the declaration. And due to this feature, it is defined as a dynamically typed language. Now the next topic is keyword. Keyword in Python are some list of reserved words which have some own meanings, and it can't be used as a can't be used or treated as a variable in the program. It always consists some particular value which we have to be called and used in the program. These are some list of keywords which we used in program according to the requirement. So these are some basic concept of the Python which we need to be know before start the program. Thank you.